discoveries, I think, of our time is that food is not just a source of calories or energy. It's not just a source of building blocks. You know, we think of proteins, for example, that build up our bodies, but that food is genetic information, and that food actually will instruct the DNA to basically orchestrate certain types of pathways and proteins in our body. So what that means essentially is if we consume fructose from, let's say, corn, GMO corn, in the high fructose corn syrup context, that's sending signals to our body, basically, that it should resist the action of insulin, it should produce excessive weight gain. And so we're basically understanding in this day and age that more important on some level than, you know, the genes you inherited from your parents is the food you are or are not eating. And so that's really within the context of epigenetics. And so now we know again that the food we eat is as important as the DNA and the nucleus of our cells in terms of determining our health outcomes. So one of the things that has been extremely impactful in my own intellectual development and understanding of the power of food is that for quite some time we thought about food just in terms of it almost being like just a fuel source for the body machine, sort of like gasoline for the car. You know, this is a caloric source and this is how many calories you need, etc. It's very abstract. The other side of the equation was food is just, you know, full of these macronutrients that are building blocks as well for the body. If you think of the amino acids, for example, those build up the protein in our body. So that's a very reductionistic view, because what we're finding is that the newest science is saying that food contains literally microRNAs, which are extremely important in regulating the genome of mammals. So these little particles in food, it could be corn or rice, they're called exosomes. They're about as small as a virus, very, very small. They contain microRNAs, which are not going to code for protein. What they're going to do is that they technically interfere with the transcription of genes into proteins. And so what they do, therefore, is that they supervene on our genome, right? We have about 20,000 protein coding genes in the human genome. MicroRNAs are now believed to be in control of that genome. Before, people thought, oh, well, all the information for the blueprint, you know, for the body plan is in the nucleus, and these DNA just go off and do their own thing, right? They just sort of sprout the protein body. Now we're realizing that because of epigenetics, or factors beyond the control of these protein coding genes being primary, that the food we are or are not eating determines our health destiny. So it's no longer we inherited bad or good genes from our dad and mom and their ancestors. It's actually more a matter of what we're doing here and now. It's why, John, in your case, your body transformed from, you know, a state of severe disability into one of radiant health. Like I'm looking at you now and I'm like, wow, you look like a really healthy person. I couldn't even recognize you from the older photos. That was less than a year ago, I'm assuming. So that's an example of when you change food, you're changing the information that controls the expression of your genes. And if you look at the word origin of the word information, it literally means to put form into. So that's pretty much what the new biology is showing us, is that food is the most powerful factor in health risk and basically whether you're going to be able to take back control of your health.
When you're eating, when you're powering home the strongest, most effective macronutrients. So you're getting plant-friendly proteins. You're getting these strong, healthy, essential fatty acids, the omega-3s, the omega-6s, when you're getting complex, unprocessed carbohydrates, our body's primary fuel source for our 100 trillion cells, when you're getting the full gambit of all these amazing micronutrients. And for people that don't know, micronutrients, they don't have any calories, but they really are essential for taking our health to the next level. So it's the vitamins, the minerals, the phytonutrients, the antioxidants, and the fiber. And most Americans are sorely lacking in all these things. And when you're eating the toxic standard American diet, where you're basically, you are shoveling down all the wrong macronutrients, protein, carbohydrates, and fat, and you're starving your body of all these essential micronutrients. So most Americans are getting a pittance when it comes to fiber, right? And fiber, it is only found in plants. And if you look at how most Americans are eating, 94% of the American diet is coming from animal products, dairy products, and processed refined foods. 94% that have no fiber whatsoever. I was doing a study for my latest book in Mesquite, Texas, and I asked them to write down the top 3 ways that they get fiber into their life. The number 1 answer was Metamucil. The number 2 answer was gummy bear fiber chews. And number 3 was plants. I mean, it's like, wow, what a wake-up call. I had one of the participants that wrote down that in the first day of eating this way, he'd consumed more fruits and vegetables than he had in the previous month. So most Americans, they're not eating plants, right? Especially in their whole unprocessed form. But when it comes to vitamins, there's only 13 vitamins that we need as human beings that are in food and that are out there. 13, and 11 of those originate from plants. They don't originate in a cow or in a pig or in a sheep or in a chicken. They originate in plants. Same thing with minerals. There's only 17 minerals that we need to get. 17 major and minor minerals. And they come from the soil. What do you think plays and romps in the soil all day long? Plants do. So if you want to get a first-rate, highly absorbable, highly retainable form of whether it's calcium, magnesium, zinc, iron, you want to get it from plants. Your green leafies, your beans, your bananas, your oranges, all these amazing things. If you want to get antioxidants and phytonutrients that are there to basically mitigate all the oxidative stress that we are exposing ourselves to every day just by being human beings, then we need to consume all these plants that have over 25,000 different phytonutrients that can help fight back disease. Then we want to consume plants that have 64 times more antioxidants on average than animal-based foods, 64 times more. So like this is the grand slam when it comes to all these amazing substances, and they're found in plants. Microbiome is fiber, all these soluble and insoluble fibers, and most Americans, again, aren't consuming any fiber whatsoever. So, start powering down the plants, the fruits, the vegetables, the whole intact grains, the beans, limited amounts of nuts and seeds, and it will be a game changer like nothing else in your life.
Here's a quick rundown of the titles of the episodes. Replays of past episodes are available for a limited time. Episode 1, The Black Death of the 21st Century, Facing the Twin Pandemics of Diabetes and Obesity. Episode 2, Money, Medicine, and Myths, How have conventional medicine and fad diets failed us? Episode 3, Diabetes Decoded, Getting to the Root of the Problem. Episode 4, Treating the Cause, Eating to Live and Choosing to Thrive. Episode 5, Escaping the Pleasure Trap and the Nightmare of Food Addiction. Episode 6, Beating Your Genes and 3 Deadly Traps. Episode 7, 4 Killer Toxins, Rising from the Mud, and the Clean Start. Episode 8, Feeding Your Soul, Following Your Heart and Finding Your Way. And finally, Episode 9, Transformation and Hope.